Right, in today's video we're going to continue the series on speed issues. So this is speed issues number 3. The first video showed how to sort out a deck that was completely dead. Second video was consistently running at wrong speed, and there's a few issues there which we'll go through in video number 2. Video number 3 is more specific. This is a fault where the deck, when it's cold, is fine. Quite often what I hear is people say, I'll play half an album and turn the album over to play the other side, and it starts to run slow. And it does seem to be that sort of 20-minute time period where the fault starts to show. So what I'm going to do, this one's coming today. This is the reason it's taking so long to get series 3 of this video sorted, really, because I've not actually had many decks in with this for a while. So even though it's quite common, it's probably the most common fault, but as soon as I need to do a video on it, of course they stop coming in. But anyway, yeah, this one's coming this morning. I suspect this is what's going on, so we'll just let's give it a test. Put the strobe on, if I can do that with one hand. Yeah, so put the strobe on. This is a project strobe, and how this works is it uses the frequency of the lights. It only actually works on a standard bulb. You can't use it with LED. It uses the frequency of the lights, and it sort of freeze frames. What we're looking at is the outer ring for 33, 45 there, 78 there. So let's give it a start, see how it goes. Generally you'd expect Regas of this sort of era to run slightly fast, like a lot of turntables, early Linds, revolvers, system, but they all run very slightly fast. So freeze framing the outer line there, so we're running slightly off at an angle there, which is normal. So that's probably about 33.6 or so, which is kind of normal, really. So it's come up to speed quite quickly. It's running at a consistent speed, if slightly fast, but like I say, that's standard. So what I'll do, leave that running and see what it's like in 20 minutes or so. Right, so we're up to about half an hour. I've just noticed it's dropped in speed considerably, actually. So you see the outer band is racing off to the right hand side now. So it's running about 20-25 RPM. And also, and you're probably not sure you can actually pick this up, but if I take it around near to where the motor is, you can hear the vibration. That's the motor sort of almost going into sort of spasm. I mean, sometimes that can be really severe. I mean, sometimes it's quiet, sometimes you get a bit of a buzz like this one, and sometimes the motor, because the motor's suspended and is free to move, sometimes the motor bangs against its suspension because it's shaking. Because, like I say, it goes into a sort of spasm. But anyway, I'll open her up and we'll have a look at the components underneath and talk you through it. Right, so it's turned upside down. This is my Lin jig, which fits Regas, fits quite a few turntables, but it means you can actually place them upside down and work on them and not sort of do any damage to any tone arm or anything. So it's quite a useful thing to have. Anyway, right, we're going to take off supply board cover, get it right. Always check before you even start to unscrew this, always check that you've unplugged it, so main plug, so we know we're nice and safe. Let's get a screwdriver. Actually, what I'll do, I'll just place you down, then you can sort of, I can actually have 2 hands to do this, which will be helpful. Right, so all you need to do is take out one screw from there. So take that screw out, loosen that up, and just slide off. Right, so you can see straight away what's going on with it. On the board, there's only 2 components. We've got a little resistor there, which is like a dropper resistor, and this capacitor. Now if we look at, bring that across a bit so you can see it a bit better. If you look at the side of it down here, it's all cracking across the face of it. So basically this is starting to fail, it's starting to expand. And I mean, this is an age-related issue. It's not a faulty component or anything. Capacitors just have a finite life, really. I mean, generally capacitors 20 to 25 years possibly, but they can sort of, this deck is 1983, so this one's 37 years, and the capacitor's just starting to go. So it's done well, really. So, but it's a fairly simple fix. You just need to find yourself another one of these capacitors, which I probably have to hand. I could do it without dropping the camera. Yeah, one of them. Now these are available for various places. I tend to get mine from RS. So slightly higher voltage. These you don't seem to be able to actually get the same rated voltage as these, but you can obviously get the same same value. So yeah, these are 0.22 microfarad. I think there's actually listed as 220 nanofarad, which is the same thing. But anyway, so just replace like with like, and you'll be good to go. So I'll just get that fitted, and we'll give it a test. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to add this little bit in, because I've had a few people ask me the question as to how do you get the board out, and do you have to take the motor out and everything. No, there's just a single screw that holds the board in. Put that safe, and you can actually manipulate the board around. What you do not want to do is take the motor out. A few reasons for it. Most of these are held in with like a plastic screw underneath. There's two screws that come through from the top. You don't really want to start unscrewing those, because those, I mean, it's not a cheap alternative in a plastic screw. It is actually part of the design. They're little isolator screws, and it's to stop the motor noise. Another way of stopping the motor noise going through to the plinth. So you don't really want to disturb those, because they will strip. It's just about impossible to take them out without stripping them. And also, when you do put the motor back in again, it's quite difficult to get the correct position on the rubber band so it sits level. So basically, I said don't touch it, because there's enough play in this to be able to actually turn the board right over to resolder it. So now you can work on that. You don't need to take any of the motor out. You can save yourself a whole load of hassle from not doing that. But okay, actually, while I'm here, I might as well just take that out. So I have to just try to solder with completely the wrong soldering iron. I just noticed I fired up the wrong soldering iron, but it'll do it. Yeah, so we're out. Okay, so new component. You need to sort of shape to the same shape the legs. Oh, so you can actually see it, to be helpful. So shape the legs so that they actually fit in. I'll just double check all that and then come back to you. Okay. Right, that's components in. We've screwed the board back in, so it's all nice and firm. Don't over tighten it. You don't want to crack the board, but it's just tighten it up to be firm, really. It's not going to go anywhere, so it just needs to be held in, really. Put the board back. And that component's basically, I don't know, 30-40p from RS Components. You probably pay £2-3 postage, I would guess, something like that. So you're basically fixing your Rega for about £4. I've seen people quoted quite extortionate amounts for new motors, you've got to have a 24 volt kit and all this sort of thing, and it isn't. It's just cap failure, really. It's not. You never need to replace the motor on a Rega. I've never known it. That motor's been used by quite a few people. I think that was early. I think Lynn have used it. I think Ariston used it all the time. I'm not sure. Remember. Possibly the system deck had a similar motor as well. And I've never known any of those turntables have motor failure. Certainly never Regas, and there's hundreds of thousands out there, and I've never known one fail. So it's always something around it that goes. And it's usually it's always a cheap fix. There's never anything expensive that happens to the actual body of the deck. It's only occasional toenail problems that may cost you money. But as far as the actual running of the turntable and the motor system goes, no, it's always a cheap fix. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'll get it turned over and get it running, and go from there. See what happens. Right, let's give it a go. First test. So hopefully I've actually fixed it. Right, I think it comes up quite nicely, and it's up to speed already, so that's quite good. And again, running slightly quickly, so back to as should be. And I'll leave this running just to be sure. But yeah, that's fixed. So yeah, like I say, I hope it's been this series of videos has been helpful. If you have any problems, you know, and you just want any help with it, just give us a call. I'll put the number along the bottom of here, plus email address. So give us a call. Tend not to say leaving any comments. It's better to give us a call, really. As somebody is doing this very moment, so I'll sign off now and go and speak to a customer. Thank you very much. Right, just a little addition to this. It's just been running now. It's been fine. It's been running now for probably an hour. It's nice and stable at speed. Now we're looking at just a final little comment on this. The sort of failing after a length of time is the most common scenario with this. Probably 95+% of the times it'll be fine when it's cold, but when it's warmed up it starts to fall over and slow down. I have actually had capacitor failure on decks that have been stored away for a long time, because an awful lot of people are actually delving into the lofts and bringing these turntables down, and they haven't been used for 15+ years. So the capacitor has a long time to sort of denature and fail. So some of those are actually failing even when they're cold. So if you've got any sort of shaking from the motor or anything like that, really, that's sort of affecting the speed, and it's vibrating, shaking, slowing down, speeding up, and when they go completely, they will actually run backwards. That's quite common as well. When they're completely gone, you get the deck, you switch the deck on it and they go backwards. So yeah, just thought I'd add that on, really, just to sort of tie it up nicely. Okay, thank you very much. Don't forget, we sell spares for Rega, just saw brand new Regas. We do other brands as well. So we're not actually a service centre. We are a sort of a sales sort of hi-fi shop with demonstration rooms. So if you want to listen to anything, just give us a call, or if you want an upgrade, any advice, just give us a ring. Thank you very much.